Hey all, it's Puddles here. Just going to do a quick video on the preparation that I've planned for our coming session tomorrow. I'll just do a quick recap of our last session. The group met up with the Hags. I introduced the new player character Granier. They insulted the Hags, got their potions, and went on their way to find the orcs to get some more allies. On the way there, they were encountered by some Deva and a Planetar. Fight ensued. Basically, most of the session was the big battle. And then, upon killing them, the group continued on and went to the orcs. The Fallen challenged the war chief for combat to gain the respect and the servitude of the orcs. And that's where we're starting off. This will be our last session for the one shot, so I've had to cut a couple of things just so that I have enough time to actually finish it in a nice way or a bad way, depending on what happens to the characters. But yeah, I'll just quickly go into some things that we've got here. So, the things I had to get rid of, the artifact. I don't have time to introduce an artifact, have a battle over the artifact, have the artifact be meaningful in any way, so that's gone. The artifact was heavily tied to Vecna being the god that Vanta was actually serving, so I'm just scrapping that as well. So Vanta has and always has been worshipping the Raven Queen, and that deception is just not being put in anymore because I don't have the time for it. If it was a full campaign, I would give it the time because I think it's a really cool idea. But yeah, with one shot, these things happen. It's better to make sure that I finish it in a way as opposed to dragging things out. So, and I think everyone is pretty eager to get into our regular campaign now that our DM's back. So, yeah, I'll just quickly go through what I've got planned. So, the most important thing is the players feel under pressure from the order summoning the Son of Tyr. So basically, the players are going to be against the clock. They're gonna. I want them to feel stressed with everything they do. Any like anything that takes a long amount of time, I want them to really think about whether they should do it or not. I'm going to introduce this through one of the orcs. I'm going to have only one of the orcs speak common, be the second in command, sort of like a shaman who is going to just introduce this time pressure. The player characters already know that there is a summoning happening and there is a deadline to it. They just haven't really been given more details on that. The group is currently all out of resources. So there's no sorcerer points. Most of them have blown through all of their spells. They're all pretty low on hit points and hit die. And the Fallen, the leader of the group, is currently at one level of exhaustion. So I know that they're going to want to have a long rest. Mechanically, how I'm going to get whether they arrive in time or not is based on how many rests they take between the start of the session and when they get to the temple. So if they have one long rest, it's okay. If they choose to skip the long rest and only take like short rests, they get 2. If they do one long rest, one short rest, or 3 short rests, or 2 long rests, or any combination of anything else, they will fail. And I'm assuming that they're going to take a long rest and a short rest, and that the summoning will happen, and I think the players are going to be okay with that. The big final conflict, which I'll go over at the end, I think is going to be really fun, and I think they're kind of looking forward to it, and being a one-shot, they sort of created these characters expecting them to sort of go down in flaming glory. So, yeah, depending on how it works out, we'll see whether they get to that final conflict or not. So this is the pivotal thing about this session. Everything must feel rushed. They have to get through the order to get to the temple. Every battle should feel like they're wasting their time. They need to, and I really really need to reinforce that with Jinak, the orc, just constantly questioning whenever they want to rest, things like that. Um, yeah, so I think that's the most important thing for this session, to make it sort of memorable and different. So yeah, the time pressure. I'm really, most of my focus and attention is going to go on that, and most of the encounters and things like that are based on that. But yeah, in terms of the orcs and their allies, so we left the session with them just gaining the orcs as allies. The second in command, Jinak, as I said, he's just going to be the information dumper. He has a haste potion, which I'm just going to give to someone. I'm reflavoring it as like a root of rage, of bloodlust. Once you take it, you sort of go super crazy aggro mode, and it's just to give them a little extra in one of the fights. It also speed up fights maybe if they're attacking things, because the encounters in this aren't necessarily about blowing through resources or being super difficult or super intricate and complex. It's just about slowing the players down, and everything that they do in the encounter should feel. It should just feel bad. So anytime they're not killing things and just running through them, they should be worried that they're not going to make it in time. He's also going to have a scrying orb. The orb is essentially, I'm going to say that they just finished a battle with the Order, and one of them was holding a scrying orb, and no one in the orcs can use it, so they're going to give it to the group. If the group want to use the scrying orb to scry and get more information, I will, again, use that to enforce how dire their situation is and how little time they have. In terms of forces, they're going to have maybe like, I think, 15 orcs and a bunch of orgs, just to help with the encounter. They really don't matter too much. I can actually go to the encounter here and show you what I've got. So we'll go to the bridge battle. So this one, we've got down the bottom here. Whoa, hey, we've got the Order, the only bridge to where the group needs to go. Is currently under fire, and they have to cross the river. We've got archers and stuff, which are basically just there to pick off all of the orcs. So this is the first encounter. It's going to be really, hopefully, frustrating. The players want to get it over and done with quickly. Perhaps they will just sacrifice the orcs and avoid the combat, which if they do, good on them. Any and all ways that they want to avoid combat, then they can definitely do. I do have in this combat, so we've got Connalt and Ilva, and just a bunch of little minions, and obviously the orcs and orogs and their allies. So with Connalt, he is the father of the squire that the group currently have. So I'm assuming they're going to make him talk to his father, and I have to sort of think about how I'm going to play that out. Where are we? So down here. So it's not going to be a difficult encounter or run too long in terms of game time. It's, again, the objective is for the Order to slow the group down. That's why they've burnt the bridge. That's why they are defending the riverbank, because they think that this is a place where they can slow the group down, giving the temple enough time to summon Tierson. I'm going to have Connalt. I discussed in my post-session video that the dialogue of the Planetar I wasn't really happy with. I sometimes, especially with conflict in these battles, I feel awkward. Unless someone is really pissing me off, or I feel unjustly wronged, I don't really look after or seek conflict. So it's sort of weird when you are a DM and you're playing evil characters or good characters fighting evil characters, and you're like trying to say things to get into the skin or under the skin of your players. So I really need to work on that because I think it's important. So I've got some battle dialogue prepared. If I can't think of anything on the spot, I've just got a little document that I'll go to and say some things. I think I need to work on that, so it's something that I'm focusing on, especially in this encounter. I've got Ilva as well. I've got a couple of lines for her if I can't think of any on the spot to also say to the players. But in terms of slowing the players down, it's completely narrative. It doesn't matter if this fight takes 10 minutes or 2 hours. It has no effect on how the temple situation plans out. That's all based on whether they take rests or not. So even if this is a long, dragged out fight, as long as the players don't have the number of rests that I have set, they will, and make it to the temple, they will make it in time. I've also got a gate encounter. I'll just go to that one here. So this one doesn't have any main players. It's basically just the gates of the order. Just a bunch of guards and a couple of archers, just like the last reserves of fighters that they have, just holding it off. If I'm running low on game time, if everything else has sort of been pushed out, I can skip this. This doesn't have to happen. This is just another thing to sort of build that anxiety and tension to in slowing the players down. Yeah, this in terms of game time will not take long for them to break through the gate and kill all these people. But it's just another level of the order trying to slow them down. Next, we have finally the temple encounter. So let me just zoom in here. Woo! So I've got Ada, the firstborn. Let me just click on that. Oh no. Let's just ignore it. Anyway, Ada, the firstborn, and Irevian, the Time Watcher. I'm going to, right now, Irevian is an elf, but I'm going to change him to a Dragonborn so that our Dragonborn character who thinks he's a human, who hates dragons, has like an enemy in the last fight. Because I think Vanta has had a lot of attention because of the Raven Queen stuff. The Fallen has obviously had a lot of attention because of the just being the leader and the one who has to make all the decisions. And Granier had like a little bit more to do in the last session, whereas his character in Ereshkigal is hasn't really had a chance to like play out his backstory. He's been awesome role playing. He's hilarious. He like plays his character well, but I haven't given him the opportunity to sort of go like play out what he wanted as his backstory. So I'm going to make Irevian a Dragonborn, and then in this last fight, I'm assuming he's just going to like unleash on him. It's going to be in a tight corridor. I'll just go to the map here. We can show you. So how it works. Let's zoom out. We've got the last of the order defending the temple doors. So the temple doors are just at where it starts getting black here. And the doors are going to be locked. The group aren't going to be able to see inside. This fight is going to happen. Maybe someone wants to break through and just go in and try to stop it. But that won't really change anything. There's going to be held actions with like crossbow bolts and spells as soon as they open the door. And then the fight's going to just go from there. Again, it's not that much of a challenging fight. It should be quite simple. It will, like, all of these fights, though simple and not dangerous in the fact that I don't think any of the players will die in any of these encounters or really suffer too much damage, it will deplete the group's resources, which will become super important if the portal does open, because they're going to be fighting an Empyrean, which is right here. This is all blacked out, but once they open the doors, I'll open this, and it's basically a bunch of cultists or priests summoning a giant portal, and through the portal, Tyrson, who is the son of Tyr, is going to come through and fight. So if they make it here, destroy all of the order, open the doors, and they have taken only one long rest or 2 short rests and nothing else, then they will come open. They'll open the door, and all of these cultist people will just be summoning stuff, and they'll come in, slaughter everyone, and the portal will close, and the characters have won, and they didn't die. If they do take more than those rests, though, the Empyrean will be summoned, and I'll just quickly go through how ridiculous this this thing is. I'm really hoping that they take the rests and we get to fight this thing, because I especially if they've just had 3 fights where they've depleted their resources, there's no way they can kill this. There's absolutely no way. Just the Maul itself, plus legendary actions. Maul plus 17 to hit, 66 plus 10 bludgeoning damage, and they're stunned if they don't make the Constitution saving throw. And then Bolt. So they can do 3 attacks each round. Like one or 2 attacks will bring people down if they get hit. Yeah. So if they don't manage their rests and resources well, they're going to be dealing with him. And I think it will be a really fitting end if he gets summoned and they all die. I think all the characters, the players will be really happy with that. Again, it's a one-shot. They've put a little bit of effort and investment in these characters, and they like them, but they were expecting me to have killed them already from discussions I've had with them. And I tried. The last encounter, the Deva encounter, was pretty, in terms of CR, like mathematic, blah blah, blue. It was supposed to kill them many times over, but it's hard to calculate these encounters at such high levels. But yeah, I'm super excited. Let me just go back to my notes to make sure that I haven't skipped anything. But I'm really, really excited for this session. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm pretty prepared for everything. The only thing I'm not 100% prepared for is if Matthew goes to Connaught, they send in the squire to talk to his father. I don't really know what I'm going to say, but I think I'm just going to improvise on the spot. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's okay, it's okay. If it's good, it's good. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's a huge part of the overarching thing. I think it's just a minor thing, and if it goes well, it goes well. But I think that's everything. Yeah. I'll be streaming the session and uploading the videos. So if you watch this and you're interested in what actually happened, you can check it out. And yeah, thanks for watching.